Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Watch my video and subscribe my channel. Taylor's new BFF Donna could be her biggest betrayal yet. Bold and beautiful spoilers say that Taylor Hayes tells Donna Logan about Ridge. Is it her biggest error to trust a Logan? Eric's startling betrayal is out in the open. Taylor's biggest mistake? She trusted a Logan with her most secret things. Get ready, B&B fans, because the most unlikely friendship in Los Angeles is about to blow up in the best way possible. I'm sitting here yelling at my TV, wondering if our favorite psychiatrist has completely lost her mind since Dr. Taylor Hayes has been telling Donna Logan all about her engagement to Ridge Forrester. Let's be serious here. Trusting a Logan with information about Ridge is like handing your enemy a loaded weapon and showing them just where to shoot. The honey bear has claws. Here's what's really going on beneath Donna's sweet-as-honey facade. When Taylor talks about Ridge, she smiles and nods sympathetically. But let's not forget who this woman really is. We're talking about Brooke Logan's sister here. The same Donna who has been protecting Brooke for years, defending her every scandalous decision, and putting down anyone who threatens her sister's happiness. And now she's Taylor's new best friend? I don't think so. The timing of this unexpected alliance is more suspicious than Sheila Carter hiding in an alley. Just when Taylor and Ridge are engaged and obviously happy, Donna swoops in with her listening ear and feigned worry. Coincidence? Not in this lifetime. This has Logan manipulation written all over it, and poor Taylor is walking right into the trap. Eric's betrayal makes everything worse. As if having a Logan spy wasn't awful enough, Taylor is also dealing with Eric Forrester's devastating betrayal. The Forrester patriarch has made it perfectly obvious that he wants his son with Brooke, not Taylor. And who does Eric pillow speak with every night? That's right, Donna. Can you picture the conversations happening in that bedroom? Taylor confides in Donna during the day, and Donna undoubtedly relays every single thing back to Eric at night. It's like Taylor is bugging herself and doesn't even recognize it. The poor woman is basically offering the enemy camp a play-by-play of her every insecurity, every doubt, every fear about her connection with Ridge. The Logan loyalty runs deeper than blood. Here's what Taylor seems to have forgotten in her desperate quest for a friend. Logan women stay together. Always. Forever. No exclusions. Donna may nod sympathetically when Taylor talks about her love for Ridge. But where do you think her true allegiance lies? With her sister Brooke, who feels Ridge is her destiny. Donna has been in Brooke's camp through every scandal, every infidelity, every husband-stealing scheme. Why would that change now? I've been watching this show long enough to know that when a Logan befriends their sister's competitor, it's never genuine. It's strategy. It's warfare. It's a preemptive strike aimed to neutralize the threat before it can inflict damage. And that's exactly what Donna is doing to Taylor right now. The warning signs Taylor's missing. What kills me is that Taylor is a psychiatrist. She examines people for a living. Yet, she's overlooking all the red flags waving straight in her face. Donna never truly agrees that Taylor and Ridge belong together. She continuously brings the subject back to how complicated things are. She subtly justifies Brooke's past behaviors. She asks probing inquiries about Taylor's relationship status. And here's the kicker. At the precise moment Donna is playing bestie with Taylor, we all know Brooke is struggling with her feelings for Ridge. That arrangement between Taylor and Brooke to keep away from Ridge? It's dangling by a thread, and Donna knows it. The master plan revealed. Let me lay out exactly what's occurring here, because evidently Taylor can't see it. Donna is running interference for her sister. She knows Brooke is ready to breach that vow and make a bid for Ridge. So what does a clever Logan do? She portrays herself as Taylor's friend before the betrayal happens. That way, when Brooke inevitably goes after Ridge, Donna will be immediately there to comfort Taylor and moderate her reaction. She'll say things like, "I'm so sorry, but you know Brooke can't help following her heart. And maybe this is destiny after all." She's not preventing the car crash. She's placing an airbag for Brooke. What happens next? Mark my words, this false friendship is going to explode up spectacularly. The moment Brooke makes her move on Ridge, and we all know it's coming, Taylor is going to understand she's been duped. Every secret she disclosed, every worry she admitted, every moment of vulnerability will be used against her. Can you image Taylor's face when she finds that Donna has been giving intelligence to the opposing camp this whole time? When she realizes that her friend was actually gathering intelligence for Brooke's next assault on her relationship? The treachery is going to be devastating. And the worst part, Ridge will undoubtedly fall for whatever sobtail Brooke offers. Armed with all the inside knowledge Donna has been collecting, Taylor won't only lose her man, she'll lose him because she trusted the wrong person with her darkest secrets. The million-dollar question. So here's what I want to know. Will Taylor wake up and smell the manipulation before it's too late? Or is she so thirsty for companionship that she'll continue confiding in someone whose last name should be warning enough? Taylor, honey, if you're reading this, and I believe the characters somehow always know what we're saying about them, run. Drop Donna like the hot potato she is, and find yourself a companion that isn't related to your romantic rival. Maybe call up an old colleague from your psychiatry practice, join a book club, get a therapist of your own. Anything but continuing to trust a Logan with ammunition they will use against you. Because, let's face it, in the world of the bold and the beautiful, trusting a Logan while you're linked with Ridge Forrester isn't just foolish. It's relationship suicide. And Taylor is about to learn that lesson the toughest manner possible. What do you think? Is Taylor making the biggest mistake of her life? Or may Donna genuinely surprise us all and prove her friendship is genuine? Yeah, right. Sound off in the comments. I need to know I'm not the only one witnessing this tragedy in the making. Taylor Hayes had spent decades carefully rebuilding herself from the ashes Ridge Forrester left behind, patching up her soul piece by piece after every lie, every abandonment, every time Brooke Logan waltzed into his arms with a flutter of lashes and a whisper of destiny, but nothing in her arsenal of therapy degrees, world-renowned empathy, or maternal instincts could have prepared her for the betrayal that was quietly being stitched into the very fabric of her days by someone she thought had become a sister in arms. Donna Logan, the honey-voiced, seemingly harmless, perpetually underestimated middle Logan sister who wormed her way into Taylor's confidence like a sweet virus wrapped in gold curls and sugary smiles, offering tea, comfort, and the illusion of safety, just as Taylor dared to believe she might finally have won Ridge for good, dared to hope that her engagement would be a foundation rather than another false start, dared to think that maybe, just maybe, Brooke was finally out of the picture for real this time. But no, because behind every Logan smile lies strategy, and Donna was playing a long game with Brooke's endgame in mind, sitting in on Taylor's late-night confessions, those soft-voiced musings over wine about her fears that Ridge was still emotionally entangled with Brooke, about the small doubts that lingered like cobwebs around the corners of her heart, and Donna, with the softness of a serpent, nodded, cooed, and took mental notes to pass on to Eric, her nightly pillow talk partner and Ridge's own father, the Forrester patriarch who, in a stunning act of betrayal himself, admitted in hushed tones under silk sheets that he still believed Brooke was the woman for his son, not Taylor, and thus the conspiracy thickened in the darkened Forrester mansion as Donna transformed from confidant to informant, reporting Taylor's every vulnerability straight into enemy hands, even as she kept showing up with fresh lattes and empty reassurances like a lioness tending the lamb she was fattening for slaughter. And meanwhile Brooke, oh yes, Brooke, was nursing her broken ego after watching Taylor slip the ring onto her finger, and she was counting on her sister's friendship with Taylor to provide her with the ammunition she needed to make her move, to strike when Taylor's guard was lowest and Ridge's nostalgia was highest, because Ridge, the eternal waffler, the serial romantic, the man who would marry Taylor on Monday and kiss Brooke by Friday, was predictably beginning to reminisce about the good times with Brooke, just as Donna chirped to Taylor about how complicated love can be. And sometimes people don't end up with who they planned. Subtle daggers cloaked in concern, and Taylor, brilliant, accomplished, educated Taylor, somehow didn't see the signs. Didn't notice that Donna never actually said, "I'm happy for you." Didn't question why Donna always redirected conversations to Brooke's suffering or Ridge's uncertainty. Didn't piece together that every time she expressed worry about her place in Ridge's heart, Donna's next sentence contained just enough doubt to fan the flames of insecurity, all while Brooke, armed now with emotional blueprints of Taylor's psyche, plotted her return like a general awaiting the exact moment to breach the walls, the moment Ridge was disoriented enough, nostalgic enough, drunk on memories and confusion enough to fall back into old patterns. And when it happened, when Ridge stood there, holding the engagement ring meant for Taylor in one hand and looking longingly at Brooke with the other, Donna would be right there, pretending to be stunned, pretending to be sorry, pretending that she didn't know all along that this was the plan, while Taylor stood speechless, gutted, realizing the betrayal didn't just come from Ridge or Brooke, but from the woman who had sat in her home, held her hand, and made herself indispensable only to hand her emotional secrets over like a deck of marked cards. And in that moment, Taylor would flash back to every conversation, every harmless question Donna asked about Ridge's habits, every time Donna pressed her lips together as if she were holding back from saying too much, every moment that seemed off but not enough to suspect, until it was too late and the damage was done, and Ridge of course would fall into Brooke's arms again, weak-willed and swept up by destiny's undertow, while Taylor collapsed not just from heartbreak but from humiliation, from the sheer psychological violence of having been emotionally dissected by someone who smiled in her face while pulling the rug out from under her life, and Donna, now hailed by Brooke as the true hero of their love story, would be celebrated by some but loathed by others, exposed at last as not just a bubblehead but a manipulator, a smiling assassin whose betrayal cut deeper than any of Brooke's previous sins because it was cloaked in friendship. And that makes it worse, infinitely worse, because Taylor had opened up, had needed a friend, had finally tried to let someone in who wasn't family, who wasn't Ridge. And now the fallout wouldn't just be losing a man. It would be a scorched earth unraveling of trust, a spiral back into self-doubt and isolation. Because how do you ever open up again when your most sacred truths were weaponized against you? And so the real tragedy won't be the loss of Ridge, because Taylor has lost Ridge before and survived. But this time she'll lose faith in her own judgment, her own instincts, and maybe even in her own worth. Because betrayal from an enemy is painful, but betrayal from a friend? That's the kind of heartbreak that lasts forever. A fuming Finn confronts Grace, and Eric pushes the panic button about Nick's possible proposal. In Italy, Brooke informs Ridge that she's waiting for Nick. Ridge takes this moment to finally apologize for being a jerk when she took the CEO post. He was misguided and never meant to inflict her pain. They establish that they'll always love each other. She coaxes, "Is that all you came here to say?" Brooke leans in and repeats, "What is it you really want to tell me?" as Nick appears. He chortles that they have plans to spend the day together, and Brooke walks off with him. In a suite, Eric takes a call from Donna, who misses her honey bear. He jumps directly into ranting about Nick Marone being there with an agenda and an engagement ring. Donna feels slightly astonished that Brooke was spotted kissing him. She orders her husband to find Ridge right now. Meanwhile, Brooke and Nick walk about Naples eating gelatos. Episode number 9581. When Ridge shows up, he's agitated. Eric discovers Brooke ran off with Brooke and moans about time running out. He warns that Nick is going to propose. More. B&B's completely smashing. Why? In the harbor, Nick shows Brooke his boat as they prepare to sail off on an adventure. Nick pulls out his phone to check if the boat's ready to leave and tells Brooke they're all set. Just the two of us. Brooke, Nick, B&B. Finn grows more suspicious. At Bill's apartment, Liam's head wrap is back, and he's migrated to the couch. His father tells him he's so glad he's going to be okay. Finn appears with a doctor bag in hand, and Bill explains that Liam's miraculous recovery is a miracle, thanks to Grace Buckingham. Liam, Bill, B&B. Finn warns of likely consequences and Liam and Bill both pledge the patient won't overdo it. Finn wonders whether Dr. Buckingham has gone over the requirement for physical therapy with them. Bill answers she hasn't and declares another miracle. Finn, squinting with clearly mounting misgivings, grunts, Yeah, another miracle. Finn, Liam, Bill, B&B. More. B&B weekly preview video. Finn adds that this experimental drug could revolutionize the way they treat all malignancies. He can't believe he was clueless of it and that it came seemingly out of nowhere. Liam's fine with being a guinea pig and Bill's delighted he could give him hope. Finn reels as he discovers Bill paid $1 million for the operation. He continues interrogating Bill about who he paid, but he shrugs, saying he didn't pay attention. Liam muses about Grace helping him after what her ex-husband did to him and Hope. Liam remembers it was to pay off gambling debts, and a lighting seems to go on in Finn's memory. What's going on with Grace? In her office, Grace hollers at someone through the phone that this is over. Never bother me, or my daughters again. Do you hear me? She disconnects and nervously looks at head scans on her laptop. Grace B&B. A nurse knocks and enters, and Grace snaps at her. She then apologizes and explains she's under a lot of pressure right now. Once alone, she picks up the phone and apparently confirms precisely that, as she tells her daughter Paris how much she loves her, that there is nothing she wouldn't do for her and her sisters. After, she looks at Liam's scans again and then deletes his medical history. Back in his office, Finn gets on his laptop and finds everything in Liam's file since his brain bleed has been deleted. Meanwhile, at her office, Grace thinks back over telling Finn that Liam had an inoperable brain tumor and selling Bill on the experimental procedure. Suddenly, Finn appears. With a bit of a creepy grin, he reports that he was just at Bill's checking on Liam after such an intrusive treatment. She claims he's lucky. Finn thinks he's also lucky Bill has $1 million to pay. What's going on, Grace? I want answers, and I want them now. The sun rose over Italy with the warmth of nostalgia hanging to the Mediterranean air, the golden dawn casting soft glows over the pastel cliffs and cobblestone alleys that twisted through Naples like the braided strands of destiny itself. Brooke Logan stood poised at the terrace of her property, the sea breeze stroking her golden hair as she softly told Ridge Forrester she was waiting for Nick Marone. Ridge had arrived unannounced, and his dismal presence, eyes dark with a mix of despair and repressed passion, spoke volumes before he even uttered a word. I was a jerk, Ridge finally acknowledged, his voice gravelly with guilt. You didn't deserve that. Brooke folded her arms, searching his face for sincerity, and as he stammered through his apology for the way he handled her appointment as Forrester CO, they both acknowledged something deeper. Their love, always smoldering beneath the surface, still survived the decades of betrayal, reunion, and distance. But just as Ridge drew in closer, just as he trembled on the point of saying the very thing Brooke needed, to hear Nick Marone emerged like a specter from the past, sun-kissed and sneering with predatory certainty. We've got plans, he chuckled, offering out his arm. Brooke, her eyes never quite leaving Ridge's, walked off with Nick as Ridge stood in anguished calm, every heartbeat sounding like the tick of a countdown clock. Back at the Forrester suite, Eric Forrester fiercely clenched his phone, his voice hoarse with irritation as he updated Donna on the situation. Nick was in Italy with a plan and, most alarmingly, an engagement ring. Donna gasped the news of Brooke kissing him and didn't hesitate to command Eric, find Ridge. Now, Eric, hardly repressing his own panic, paced like a lion in a cage. Meanwhile, Brooke and Nick went around the streets of Naples, enjoying gelatos and memories. She giggled at his jabs, but her mind lingered on Ridge's almost confession. At the harbor, Nick led her on board his boat, his every gesture dripping with intention. As they prepared to set sail, Nick texted his captain, checking everything was ready. Just the two of us, he continued. Brooke gazed out across the lake, unsure if she was slipping into something familiar or something dreadful. Thousands of miles away in Los Angeles, The tension grew even more hazardous. Liam Spencer reclined on Bill's couch, his head covered in a fresh bandage. Bill Spencer stayed like an overprotective shadow, marveling at his son's miracle recovery, crediting Grace Buckingham for saving Liam's life with some magical, experimental brain cancer treatment. When Finn arrived, medical bag in hand, his disposition immediately soured upon hearing Grace's name. He barely managed a courteous greeting before his tone shifted. Sharp, skeptical, clinical. He noted the absence of any detailed physical rehabilitation plan, and when Bill shrugged it off as another miracle, Finn's eyes concentrated with laser-like focus. Yeah, another miracle, he muttered. Finn battled to keep up his professional manner as he questioned the validity of the procedure Liam had apparently had. A treatment so advanced, so experimental, it would change the face of oncology, and yet he'd never heard of it? It didn't make sense. He pressed further, and Bill, frustratingly casual, revealed he'd spent $1 million for it. $1 million. Finn's caution bells screamed. Bill couldn't even name the institution or the research group behind the treatment. Then Liam, ever the naive pawn, joined in, recalling Grace assisting him despite what her ex-husband, Reese Buckingham, had done in the past to him and Hope. That comment, that tiny reminder, made something click for Finn. Reese's scams, Reese's fraudulent adoptions, Reese's gambling debts. It was genetic. A dreadful thought began to form. At the hospital, Grace Buckingham was already cracking under the pressure. Screaming into the phone, she threatened an unseen threat to never harm her or her daughters again. Her fingers trembled as she canceled the call and stared over Liam's brain scans on her laptop. Scans she knew were fabricated. When a nurse knocked, Grace lashed out immediately, then backpedaled into a false apology. She was unraveling, and it showed. Alone again, Grace texted her daughter Paris, gushing forth impassioned confessions, how she'd do anything to protect her girls. Then, after a lengthy pause, she erased Liam's medical data, wiping the digital slate clean with the subtle cruelty of someone who believed she was doing the right thing. Meanwhile, Finn sat alone in his office, researching deeper. When he entered Liam's medical file and found it oddly barren since the day of his brain bleed, a shudder went over him. Grace had removed the track. He knew it. Now it was war. Without hesitating, Finn surged into Grace's office like a force of nature. She struggled to keep control, but his penetrating smile disarmed her instantly. "I was just at Bill's," Finn remarked calmly, dangerously, checking in on Liam after such an invasive, experimental procedure. "Funny thing, no one knows anything about it. But you do, Grace. So I'll ask again, what's going on?"